Hello and welcome to Winging It. I'm Erica S.Perl. I'm a children's author, and every week on Winging It, which is at Tuesday at 2, I read from one of my books and we do a project related to my book. So tune in every week. Today, the book we're focusing on is from the series Craftily Ever After. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This book that we're going to read from today is not yet out. It doesn't come out till next month. So you, my Winging It friends, are getting a sneak peek inside of the book. And you're going to see things that other people have not seen yet. Now, as I mentioned, it is part of a series. And as you can see, this is not even the book itself. I'm doing a little mock-up. So I put the cover on another book so you can see what it's going to look like when it becomes a book. But it's not a book yet. But when it becomes a book, it will be called Best Buds Forever. And it's the 7th book in the Craftily Ever After series, which I write. Now, you may be saying to yourself, hey, wait a second. Your name is Erica S.Perl, but on the cover it says these books are by Martha Maker. Martha Maker and Erica S.Perl, could they be the same person? Yes, indeed they could. I am Martha Maker. That is my secret name for when I write the Craftily Ever After books. And now you're in on the secret too. However, the illustrator, Xindi Yan, whose name you see here, that's her real name. So if you ever run into her, she is the fabulous illustrator of Craftily Ever After, and I am the author. And as you can see, there are many books in the series. There are all these books here. Fan them out for you, starting off with the Unfriendship Bracelet and going on. The first four books are collected in this handy collection. And then there's books 5 and 6, which look like this and this. And then today we're going to read book 7. So let's get started. And what I should probably do first is introduce you to the characters. You might know them if you've read some of these books, but if you don't, I'll let you get to know them. So on the cover, you see two of these characters. This is Emily, and this is Maddie. Emily and Maddie, when the series starts out, are best friends. But then a new kid moves in. Her name is Bella. And Emily is a little worried that Bella's going to steal her best friend Maddie. But luckily, it turns out they can all be friends. And in fact, there's room for one more. So by the time we get to this book, which is the 3rd book in the series, 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, Bella, Maddie, Sam, and Emily, are very good friends and spend all their time doing art and craft projects together and getting into some misadventures along the way. And there's Sam and Bella on the cover of Making the Band, the musical instruments that they made. So you get the picture. So let's get started reading Best Buds Forever. Best Buds Forever, I'm going to read off an iPad here because, as I said, it's not a book yet. It's going to come out soon, but you're going to get to see it before anyone else does. And we're not going to read the whole book. We're going to read a little, and then we're going to do a project together. So here is chapter 1, and you see Emily and Sam, and they're in their crafting clubhouse when all of a sudden a bird shows up at the window. So let me tilt it a little so you can see. And we'll scroll up so we can read together. Tweet, tweet, tweet! Emily, look who's here again. Sam pointed at the bird, which had flown in through the window of the craft clubhouse, formerly known as the old shed in Bella's backyard. Emily Adams, Sam Sharma, Bella Diaz, and Maddie Wilson spent as much time as possible at the clubhouse. Emily looked up from the wood piece she was sanding. Hey, little guy, she greeted the bird. Emily turned to Maddie. Why do you think he keeps coming back? Maybe he's hungry, said Maddie. Or maybe, suggested Bella, he heard about the birdhouse Emily made for her dad. He's here to ask for blueprints. Don't you mean bluebird prints? Joked Maddie. Want to make another one? Sam asked Emily. Maybe, said Emily. The first one had been a lot of work, but also a lot of fun. Maybe there was a different kind of birdhouse she could make this time. Knock, knock. Who's at the door, you guys? What do you think? Let's find out. It was Bella's dad knocking on the door frame of the open clubhouse door. He had a big platter in his arms. Now that's a proper way to come into the clubhouse, joked Bella, nodding at the bird. Her friends laughed. Don't come in through the window, come in through the door, and come in bringing food. Wow, what's that? Asked Sam, pointing to the platter. Since Mr. Diaz was a chef, he often tried out new recipes on Bella and her friends. But this looked less like food and more like... flowers? Guessed Maddie. Bella's dad nodded. Squash blossoms. I harvested them this morning, then stuffed them and roasted them. Try for yourself. Are you sure? Asked Sam. My little sister tried to eat a flower once. Luckily, my mom stopped her just in time. Yeah, some flowers should definitely not be eaten. Some flowers aren't good to eat, agreed Mr. Diaz, but squash blossoms are edible. And delicious, said Bella, digging in. The others did the same and quickly agreed. Look, they ate almost all of them. Mr. Diaz, what did you mean when you said you harvested them? Asked Emily. From our garden, he explained. The kids looked at one another. What garden? Asked Sam. They had spent many happy hours in the Diaz family's backyard. If there was a garden, surely they would have seen it. Mr. Diaz laughed. It's on the other side of the house. Technically, it's on our neighbor's property, but we worked out a deal. I tend the garden, and he enjoys some of what I grow. He grows everything, said Bella proudly. Mr. Diaz laughed. Come see for yourselves. Follow me. So they all go over to check out the garden. There they are, going to see the tomatoes and the peppers and everything. Chapter 2. There's Emily. An idea takes root. Emily was at the kitchen table doing her homework, or trying to at least. She couldn't stop thinking about the Diaz family's garden. Vegetables, fruit, flowers. Everything was fresh and flourishing right there in the dirt. She doodled a curly pumpkin vine in her notebook and was adding leaves when something her dad said caught her attention. Did you say garden? Emily asked her parents, who were in the living room. Emily's mom turned, surprised. Your dad was talking about that empty lot on Oak Street. It used to be a community garden. But now it's just an eyesore, according to some people, explained Mr. Adams, who was on the town board. At last night's meeting, we heard lots of complaints. Maybe it should go back to being a community garden, suggested Emily. Her dad sighed. It's not that simple. The mayor wants to get a store to open there. He thinks it could help the local economy. Emily frowned. What does that mean? Local businesses help our town, explained Emily's mom. They bring people together and they pay taxes to the town. That money can go towards things like summer concerts and recycling pickup. But what about a good garden? Asked Emily. Gardens bring people together. Plus gardens produce all sorts of things, flowers and food. Her dad nodded. I agree, but it's up to the mayor, not me. Then I'll just have to talk to the mayor, Emily announced. When Emily gets an idea, she wants to take action, as you can see. Okay, we're going to read a little bit more. Chapter 3. There's Emily and her friends at the library. Let's get this garden started. During library time at school the next day, Emily told Bella, Sam, and Maddie about the community garden, or what it used to be. They all agreed that trying to rebuild the garden was a great idea, but we'll need the mayor's permission, explained Emily. Mayor Barnstable? Maddie smiled. He'll be glad to see us. We designed his favorite shirt, remember? That happened in book 3, you may recall. They accidentally tie-dyed his shirt. We tie-dyed his shirt by accident, Sam reminded her. True, but he ended up loving it, Maddie said, still smiling. That doesn't mean he'll automatically say yes to this, said Emily. We'll need to convince him. We'll have to explain why a community garden is a good idea. Why don't we look online, suggested Bella. The others gathered around and suggested search terms while Bella typed, just gardens got too many results, but adding the word community narrowed them down. Ooh, an article about the many benefits of community gardens, read Maddie. Click on that link. Sam sat down next to Bella and pulled out his sketch pad. He took notes while Bella scrolled through information. Meanwhile, Emily and Maddie looked for books about gardening. Did you get the part about photosynthesis? Bella asked Sam. Of course. Sam showed her his sketch of a happy plant absorbing harmful CO2 molecules from the air and releasing valuable oxygen molecules into the air. Awesome, said Bella. Can you add some birds? According to this site, gardens provide them with habitats, and they eat tiny critters that can destroy plants and crops. Absolutely, said Sam. Bugs! Yelled Bella, causing Sam to jump. She laughed and pointed to the screen, then whispered, Look, insects help gardens too. Before long, Bella had printed out several pages of facts. Sam had filled his notebook with notes and drawings, and Maddie and Emily had checked out a stack of gardening books. They were ready to get this garden started, or ready to start getting this garden started. Chapter 4. We're going to just read a little bit of Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Emily has gone to temple with her mom. Door to door. On Saturday morning, Emily went to temple with her family. Emily always tried to pay attention to the rabbi, but she couldn't help daydreaming sometimes, like she was doing right now. Suddenly, a word brought her back to focus. Gan? Did Rabbi Stein just say the Hebrew word for garden? There's Rabbi Stein. Sure enough, the rabbi said it again. When we talk about healing the world, there are lots of things you can do that are very small, yet very important, she explained to everyone. Planting seeds, growing vegetables or flowers, and sharing them with others are all ways to heal the world, even if your gan is just a single flower pot or a single vacant lot, thought Emily excitedly. So I'm going to stop there. And one thing I want to share with you that's really exciting to me is that this book, Best Buds Forever, is going to be a PJ Library book in the fall, which means that PJ Library will be sharing this book with lots and lots of families so that they can learn about Emily and her friends and all the ways that they try to improve the community garden. So thank you, PJ Library, for choosing Best Buds Forever. Now, as you learned in the book, Emily and her friends in Best Buds Forever are going to work on a garden project. And one of the things they want to do is create a garden that's welcoming to people and also welcoming to animals. And one thing you can do to create a little welcoming spot in your life is find a way to help birds. Because birds are all around us, and this time of year they're looking for food. And so I'm going to show you how you can make a bird feeder that you can hang up on your window sill or in your yard or on your porch or anywhere. Just put it outside so that a bird can find it in your neighborhood. You can even just put it on a tree. It doesn't have to be on your yard. And I'm going to start out with this lovely lactose-free milk container. Yeah. So what you need is you need a container like this. It can be a milk container, but it could be something else. I made one recently out of a oatmeal container. That works too. You can use a cereal box. You can use a juice container. It really doesn't matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your container and you're going to draw on it, like I'm doing, a bit of a window. And you want to make the window high enough up so that we can kind of keep this part free so it doesn't have a hole in it, because that's where the birdseed's going to go. And so I am going to take, you can use either, I'm going to use a box cutter to get started, but if you're using a box cutter, get a parent involved. Okay. Grown-ups, box cutters are a grown-up thing. And even grown-ups like myself sometimes have trouble with box cutters. But here we go. I got it started. Okay, so now I'm going to safely put my box cutter away and shift over to my scissors. So I'm going to take the scissors and poke them into the hole that I just made, and I'm going to cut out this window just like so. As you can see, now we have a window, and the window makes it so that the birds can actually come and perch here on this ledge, and they can stick their little beaks in here. I was going to say noses, but I meant beaks, and get to the birdseed, which is you're going to put in here. So you can pour birdseed into the container, and then these little walls down here will keep it from falling out, but the birds can get into it. Now, the other thing that you need to do is you need to create a way of hanging it. And so what I would suggest is that you either take, like this, a hole puncher and punch some holes in the top of it. Oh, that's not working, and it's spilling water on me because I did clean it out. All right, we're not going to do that. But, oh wait, it is going through. Hang on. It's very, very thick cardboard, as you can see. So at least that poked it part of the way. I think I can poke it the rest of the way. Same here. Let's give it a big, strong. Same thing. Okay. So what you can do then is you can go back later with your scissors and you can poke out those holes, and then you can string it. I have some string here, and you can string it so that it can hang from a tree like so birds can get at it. The other thing that you can do, and this is handy to do with your hole puncher, is if you punch down here, you can make one little hole like so, and then you can stick a pencil through, and that way there's an additional perch for birds that are waiting their turn to sit on it. So that's what I would do to make this into a bird feeder. You can also decorate it. So you can paint this, you can cover it with construction paper, you can put eyes and a nose and even wings on it if you want to make it look like a giant owl or something. You can do anything that your imagination tells you to do to make it your own special bird feeder. You can put a rainbow on it, you can put your name on it, you can put any sort of message to the world so that the birds will see it and they will have a nice spring, and people will see it and they will smile too. So that's our book and our project for today. I hope you've enjoyed coming to Winging It, getting a little sneak peek at Craftily Ever After number 7, Best Buds Forever, which, as I said, is coming out in just a couple of weeks. So you can probably get your hands on it pretty soon, the whole book, find out what happens. And between now and then, you can read the other 6 books in the series to get ready for book 7. And you can make yourself a bird feeder and feed the birds, and that's sort of a tikkun olam thing, which is the Hebrew for making the world a better place, healing the world. Something we can do together during this time. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to encourage you to do some reading, do some writing, do some bird feeder making, wash your wings, and I will see you right here next Tuesday at 2. Bye-bye.